Hello, all my Journey to Covenant family. I'm so glad to have you guys back with me for yet another week, and we are continuing to discuss topics that are helpful to singles, engaged couples, and married couples in building a God-centered covenant. Today we're going to be tackling a topic that should be helpful to everybody because everybody deals with this on some kind of level. We're going to be talking about how to protect your relationship from social media. Everybody, like I said, has a connection to social media in some kind of way. It's just about being able to create healthy boundaries around your relationship so that the negative aspects of social media do not weigh your relationship down. The first thing about social media, it can be dangerous in so many different ways, but one of the main ways is one of the most obvious ways, and that is access. When you're on social media, you have access to so many people, you have access to so many temptations, you have access to everything. People's exes are on social media. Visually, you have images that are coming up in front of your eyes. You have the ideals that people show, parts of their lives that are what we call the highlights, and you seeing this all day, every day. There's the inbox, the private messaging, comments that could be put under people's pictures and under people's statuses, and sometimes just in the most obvious way, you have to be careful with it. People get caught up in things, and it starts with a simple comment. It starts with a simple like. If you look on Facebook and a person of the opposite sex has liked several of your pictures, it's going to show up. And guess what? It's going to send a message to your brain. Oh, this person is watching me. This person is interested in me. This person is looking at me. Now, if you're single, that's one thing. If you're a single person and you see that somebody's interested, okay. But if you're married and this happens, that person just sent a message that I've been watching your page, i.e. I've been watching you, and it's the same thing if you're married and you go on somebody's page and like several of their pictures. A lot of people say, oh man, that's petty. Why would somebody make a big deal out of it? Well, social media has meaning in this culture. Things like that mean something to this culture. Now, if you would tell me if that meant something back in 1999, it probably meant nothing. But in 2018, that means a lot. And so you have to be careful of things like that. You have to be careful of what rises in your flesh when you see that somebody has liked your picture. So it could start with a small seed like that. Somebody liked your picture. Then you have another one, comment. A lot of times you can read comments and you see people engaging in conversations, or they engage in banter, flirting, things that they wouldn't do with somebody in person. A lot of times we feel more comfortable doing online. So you'll see somebody in a back and forth with somebody. You'll see somebody make some loose comments underneath somebody's status or somebody's picture, and they don't think anything of it. But in the reality, if you were talking to that person face to face saying those same things, it would be seen as flirting. So if you're a married man, if you're underneath a single or married woman's picture that's not your wife, and you're making comments about her body, if you're making comments about the way she looks, different things like that, you would have to be careful and think of it as, would you make those same comments if that woman was standing before you? Again, would you make those same comments if that woman was standing in front of you and your wife was standing on your side? So you have to think of those things and use wisdom with how you interact with people via Facebook, or Instagram or Twitter. You have to be very careful. Another thing that could be dangerous is private messaging. A lot of times people feel like, oh, we on social media, I could just message this person privately. If you don't have that person's phone number, if that's a person that you should not be texting, or you wouldn't want to be texting back and forth with, you shouldn't be private messaging them. As a matter of fact, I really don't agree wholeheartedly unless it has something to do with business or it's something specific and something very brief. I really don't believe in people married engaging in conversations with people of the opposite sex in the inbox, because it can be dangerous. And if somebody messages you and it has to be business related, it has to be ministry related, or something very brief, then you should be able to share those messages with your spouse. If it's something that you feel like you have to delete, or if it's something that you feel like you would have to cover up, there's something that is not right. there. And so you would have to be careful. Check your own heart, check your own spirit. We're all flesh, so we all have the potential to be tempted. But the key to boundaries is boundaries shields us from certain levels of temptation. Every man, when he is tempted, is drawn away by his own lust. So you have to be mindful of the lust that you deal with and the temptations that are potential in your life. And you have to set a guard around it. You have to set boundaries around those areas. And you have to make sure that you're not playing with fire, because you will get burned. Another way that social media can put your relationship at risk is indulging in it too much. It can be a distraction. So many times we can be so involved in social media that we forget the person that's sitting right there on the side of us. And then we inundate ourselves in this false reality of social media, and we forget to reach out and touch what's right there by us. I've seen people send messages direct and indirectly to their spouses by social media. I've seen people embarrass their spouses on social media, directly and indirectly. I've seen people argue with their spouses on social media, and all of this is causing damage to the relationship, because you're in the cyber world engaging in these interactions with your spouse or throwing shade at your own spouse on social media, and you guys have to live in a house together, and that is very dangerous. So sometimes how we use social media, even with our spouses, many people, they will go and they'll say something negative about their spouses indirectly. Everybody in the world knows that you're talking about your spouse, and you are damaging your covenant and you don't even realize it. Social media is used as advertisement. You know, you have married people who have funny ways of using social media to post to the world that I'm unhappy, I'm unsatisfied. And basically what you're doing is inviting other people in. You're inviting people of the opposite sex in. You're piquing their interest. Well, I wonder what's going on in her home. I wonder what's going on in his home. I wonder what his wife is not doing. And it's because of how you're portraying yourself on social media. Use wisdom. The thing of it is, social media can be a great tool. You know, I've connected with family members. I mean, I'm using social media right now. I'm ministering via social media right now as we speak. You know, but at the same time, the same thing that can be used as a tool to build up and lift up can also be used as a tool to destroy. It's up to you. To me, the telephone, whenever we had landlines, if you used it the wrong way, it could be used for evil. You know, so it's a lot of things in our lives that are advancing. You know, technology is advancing as we speak. And what happens is I could reach out with the click of a button, and all of a sudden I could have contact with China and Africa and Japan. You know, and that's amazing. It's amazing that we can do those things. However, China, Africa, and Japan now all have interest into my house and into my marriage if I'm not careful. So whenever it comes down to social media, you guys just be careful. Use it as a tool to build up. You know, if you connected to things in social media, if people are connected to you for whatever various reasons, make sure that you're maintaining healthy boundaries. If you have anything on social media that your spouse does not have access to, I'm telling you, that's a dangerous spot. If your spouse cannot pick up your phone, your inbox, your social media page right now while you watch this video and search through it, if you think, oh, I would have to clean it up first, then that means that social media is actually destroying your marriage and you don't even realize it. Just wanted to give you guys those nuggets about protecting your marriage, you know, and it's not just social media. We have to protect our marriage from social interactions, period. You know, you have to be careful how you interact with anyone. But now the main mode of interaction these days is through social media. If you know that it's a man that's inboxing you to flirt with you or give interest, don't answer it. You know, I see these ladies, oh, I had this conversation and I did this and I did that. For what? You have no need to even answer that. If that's somebody that you don't know, if that's somebody that you know is a man and they don't have business with you, don't even answer it. Just delete it right away. Don't even keep that in your inbox. Don't even keep that type of temptation. You should not be inboxing with your exes on social media. You know, if that's your ex, they should be your ex for a reason. Really, you shouldn't even be friends with them. You should really unfriend somebody who you've had romantic dealings with in the past. You know, in certain things, it's just about using wisdom. And a lot of times we tell ourselves, oh, well, it's nothing. But you have to understand what in you is wanting to stay connected to that person. The same thing is having a hard time letting go of that person via social media is the same thing that would have a hard time telling that person no if they approached you in the wrong way. So just use wisdom. Ultimately, make sure that you and your spouse get together, sit down, and you guys set guidelines for social media as to how it will be used in your family, how it will be used in your house. What about your dealings with social media does your spouse always need to be aware of? You guys talk about it, set those guidelines, and stick to it. Maintain accountability with your partner. Stop embarrassing yourself and your partner by the comments that you make under people of the opposite sex's pictures, statuses. Don't do that, because certain things, the Bible says abstain from the appearance of evil. There are certain things on social media that just downright looks bad. So you want to make sure that that's not named among you, especially if you're of the kingdom and of the body of Christ. All right, guys? So I'm not going to string it out any longer, but I'm thankful that you guys are back again for yet another video. What I need you to do now is I want you to subscribe. I want you guys to comment. Let me know what you're thinking. Let's keep the conversation going. I want you to like the video. Hopefully you did like the video. And ultimately, share it. Somebody else could benefit from this. Somebody else needs to hear something like this. And I'm depending on you guys to help me get the word out. I love y'all. And until next time, I'll see y'all later. Bye.